Alrighty, so in this video, I'm just gonna kind of go through, give you all the breakdown of how to determine your dimensions in case you're struggling. This is going to be in particular for whenever we're calculating out what the cripple studs heights are going to need to be if we have a window opening. And so basically what I ended up doing is I got back into our good old OnShape. And so basically what I ended up doing is I created a sketch. Now, this view that we're currently seeing is a sectional view. It's almost like we just took a slice out of the side of our wall. And so now basically what we're seeing up here, as you can see on this, is the top plate is right here. Then we've got right here the top cripple. So it's the top cripple stud. Then we've got these two headers that are actually put together. Now I know that in class I was saying that we were just going to do a single header, but I think that we do need to end up doing a double header for this. It is better that we play it safe and do that than just do a single header. So it works out really, really well, but basically these two have to be oriented in this manner where our longest dimension is vertical there. And we just put two together there to create that header. Then what we're going to end up doing is we're going to have our actual window opening in there, and then we're going to have this sill down here, which the sill is basically set up just like the sole plate, except it's going to be along all those cripple studs. So this is the sill, and then we've got the cripple stud right here, and then we've got our base plate, or the bottom plate, or the sole plate. So now what we can do is if I go into the sketch, you can see all these calculations that I ended up having to go through. Basically, I put in the dimensions for this top plate and bottom plate. And so as we can see here, it is 1.5 by 0.75. So remember that we did take those dimensions, although we're dealing with 1x2 studs. These are actually 0.75 inches by 1.5 inches. And so now what I can do is I can end up finding out information about this. And so I ended up dimensioning this out from the top of this top plate down to the header. But what I can do is I can use the dimension tool and I can end up throwing this in. So what I'll find out is, okay, for this setup, I've got it where it's 4.25 inches is how long my cripple studs are going to be in here. And then we've got our double header here. So if we also go down here, I can also dimension this out too and determine that my cripple stud here on the bottom needs to be 6.75 inches. But basically what I highly suggest for you to do is to either hop into OnShape and end up setting this up or create a diagram that looks exactly like this. As you can see, I have my overall height from the top plate all the way down to the bottom of the bottom plate. It is 24 inches because it's supposed to be 2 feet. And so if I run that, I can put in the top plate there, which is going to go down 0.75 inches. Then we've got this distance right here of this cripple stud. Then we've got my double header right here, which is 1.5 inches in length. Then if we end up going through here and calculating this out, we know that the window opening is going to be 9.25 inches. And then basically we've got this set up here where it is it's basically 7.5 inches from the bottom here to the top. So taking into consideration this sole plate that we have down here, basically that cripple stud is going to be 6.75 inches. So highly suggest create a drawing that looks like this for any of your window openings. And then this is how you can actually calculate out, what these cripple studs need to be cut to in there. Okay. If you also need to find out what your jack stud needs to be, you can end up going from here all the way to right here. And so, because remember the jack stud goes up to the header. So in this case, I can also find out, okay, my jack stud is going to be 16.75 inches, right? The king stud, it's going to be very simple to calculate that. Basically, it's 24 minus 1.5, but you could also end up even running this in there too. And so now we know that the king stud is 22.5 inches there. All right, so hope this was helpful. This is the kind of diagram, though, that I would create just to be able to verify that you've got the correct dimensions for all your cripple studs in the window openings. All right.